What if you could make one decision to unleash everything great in your life? Would you do it? Would you say yes? Aren't you tired of your relationships, your health, and so much more suffering because you lack the truth you need to change? The life you desire is within your reach. You can achieve all the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve by simply learning the secrets that lead to real personal transformation. Change is hard, but not impossible. You just have to make one radical decision to get real. And there's no better authority on the real steps to change than David G. Evans.
Some men trust in chariots. Some men trust in horses. But we will trust in the Lord.
David G. Evans is leading the charge to bring you the power to change your life. He is committed to the mission of helping you transform and become a person of power, and it starts with his all-new system to change your situation. At the centerpiece of this life-altering collection is David Evans' groundbreaking training course. From ridiculous to radical to real, this means war. In this series, you will discover the steps to change. This series includes 2 powerful messages, each on winning the battle in your mind and cultivating a language of faith. That's 4 messages, 4 power-filled hours of material. If you want a better marriage, this series has the answers. If you want to achieve financial independence God's way, the secrets in this series will empower you to make it happen. If you want a life of power, anointing, and influence, this series will show you how to get it, and there's more. You're looking for serious, immediate results. So Bishop Evans will also include one of his best-selling messages called Weapon of Warfare. This classic teaching will build you up to start fighting in the spirit for what you deserve. This powerhouse collection, from ridiculous to radical to real, and Weapon of Warfare, will give you all the biblical strategies you need to change anything in your life. This collection will ship to you immediately with your gift today to David G. Evans Ministries. This ministry is revolutionizing the kingdom by empowering believers. Souls are being saved daily, and we need your help to grow this impact in a real way. Call now and sow your seed of just $35 for your transformation to help people around the world. Your $35 love gift goes straight to the front lines of ministry, providing help to those that need it most. Call now. Make the decision to get the power you need to change your life forever. What if you could make one decision to unleash every...
It's the catalyst for change you've been waiting on. New Mind, New Me, from Bishop David G. Evans.
I want to be loved. Why do I take the person that loves me and kick them to the curb? I want to be wealthy, but I spend all my money.
You were created and given a slave, a doulos, a servant called your mind. Your mind is out of order when it questions your commands.
If you are ready for true transformation, Bishop David G. Evans would like to bless you with the New Mind, New Me 4-message DVD set. Order today, and you will also receive Bishop Evans' national best-selling book, Healed Without Scars, as well as the Healed Without Scars music CD.
My mind's going where I tell it to go. It'll never go back. It's my mind. It's going to do what I say.
All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today. Be prepared to watch a new you emerge.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. Live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Any smart device at David G. Evans 1. You can hear us and see us around the world. We're so glad you joined us once again. Won't you please like and subscribe, and most of all this morning, share with someone that you know that could benefit from listening to, from watching the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. We talk about a variety of subjects: politics, culture, events, sports, but all from a biblical, a kingdom perspective. We have the most intelligent, biblically intelligent callers in the world, and we ask you to join us once again and have these conversations. We don't always agree, but we disagree agreeably, and we're so glad that you are part of this great dynamic that God has created for us. You can give us a call, 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267, 866-74-EVANS. Give us a call. We love to talk to you. But always, when you call, not only give us your name, but if you can, let us know where you're from. And today, if you're part of a church, let us know what church you're part of and who that pastor is, so that we can give a shout out to all the leaders that are standing on the wall, Bible in one hand and a building instrument in the other. So glad to have those pastors who join us weekly. Haven't heard from a few of you in a while. We'd love to hear from you again as we talk about those things that I believe are relevant. Of course, joining us once again is our world-famous co-host, Pastor Nicholas A. Smith, the executive pastor of Bethany Church. Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Trying to get it together, man.
Yeah,
Trying to get together. Having one of them struggle mornings. It could have just either sat down somewhere and stayed there.
Yeah. It took me a while to get out of bed today.
I'm trying to tell you something, boy. But this week, of course, the January 6th hearings are center stage, and I have not been able to watch nearly as much as I would desire. But I am learning some things. I thought I knew some stuff, but I'm learning some stuff now that is obvious that, and I can see what they're doing. They're trying to build, but it's all going to boil down to whether how much White House involvement. I watched a senator a few days ago who they had on tape providing a tour, and he, during a time when there were no tours allowed, and he denied that was him on the tape, and denied that what the people were doing in his presence, and just it amazed me that, you know, you have to come back with some kind of different retort, but to have video of you plainly, and then it's like you going through the toll booth without paying, and then they have your license plate and a picture of your face, and you saying, "That's not me." You know, that somebody just looks like me. And then to have some of the same people that he was guiding through show up in the pictures of those that stormed the Capitol, and he still is insisting, "I haven't gotten a subpoena. Nobody's talked to me about this. That wasn't me in the photo. I don't know who those people were."
Representative Barry Loudermilk.
That's him, Loudermilk.
Yes.
Quite a name.
And I wonder if some of the police officers were in on it too, because we saw the video where when they finally got into the Capitol building, the police some of them were just like, and celebrating with them. And they said some CIA guys had been turned, if you will, and it probably is one of the reasons President Pence was not getting in the car with them. Because he knew.
He was. Now that spoke a lot to me. When his Secret Service guys came and said, "Come on, we got a car for you out there," and he said, "Oh no, we're not going. We're not going. Right. I'm going downstairs in the safe room." That was telling.
Very telling. Because did you read the thing about him and Dan Quayle's conversation?
Yes.
And he said, "I'm in a very basically precarious situation. You don't understand where I am." He understood the consequences
of his
actions if he chose to go against Trump. So obviously he knows some behind the scenes.
Now I didn't hear that part of the conversation. What was he inferring?
Well, he didn't spell it out, but the reported conversation was, he said, "I'm in a precarious situation." To Dan Quayle, "You don't understand where I am, the position."
Wow.
And Quayle's like, "I understand where you are. I've been there before, but you still have to uphold the law, do what you're supposed to do." But obviously Pence was at the place where he was considering Trump because he was afraid of the ramifications.
The repercussions. And I've always wondered how him being a quote-unquote man of faith, he was able to hold his position and watch Trump and support everything that Trump was doing.
It's hard to disagree with some of the stuff you agree with. I mean, slaveholders were Christians. And, I'm not saying Pence is one, but I'm just giving the analogy of
So there was another shooting in Alabama?
At a church, at a potluck. A church potluck. This senior citizen guy came in there and killed 3 people at this potluck. They don't have a lot of details on why, or it just happened, I think, Thursday, I believe.
Wow. And what are forever chemicals?
So, DuPont, back in the day,
Oh, Lord.
creates Teflon
Oh, Lord.
and all that non-stick stuff, right?
Yeah, they dumped it in the water.
They not only did they dump it in the water,
Yeah.
but now it started to leach into the water, like when you wash dishes and all that stuff.
So
right
they
there.
dumped the Teflon into the water.
Well, part of it is from them dumping stuff, but part of it is our everyday use of it.
Okay.
So now those chemicals are inside of all of us now too, because you cook on nonstick pans and
Yeah.
all that gets inside of you, and then now it's like a cycle. Then it goes all into the water. So now they want, they're claiming they want to put filters in on waters to get some of these chemicals and stuff out, which is why cancer's been going up crazy for the past couple of years.
Absolutely.
All these different low birth rates.
Mm-hmm.
They did a whole list of stuff that these chemicals do.
Not to mention, not just low birth rates, but a lot more babies born with adult diseases.
Yes. Yep.
Now, here's what's amazing. And I've been talking about it, you've been in agreement with me on this thing, that it had to be something common. It was either food, water, or air.
Mm-hmm.
That it had to be, because places where cancer was not at a high rate,
Mm-hmm.
they're now catching up with the rest of the country.
Yep.
So it has to be air, food, or water.
Yep.
And that would also include, if it's air, food, or water, that includes the soil that you're getting crops from, that includes the water that you drink, it includes all those things that are impacted.
Yeah. And that's what they were saying. The soil and the water
Mm-hmm.
can't process the chemicals
Mm-mm.
like our bodies do.
Mm-mm.
But it's still bad for us though. Like I was talking to somebody, I was reading something. The same diet that you would want to eat over here,
Mhm.
if you ate the same thing in Europe,
Mhm.
you would barely gain weight.
Right?
You would be much healthier.
Yeah, all
Eating
the-
the same,
All the additives.
all the additives, all the
Mhm.
gluten, all
Yep.
the,
Yep.
and then we wonder why.
We struggle.
Yeah. And this is why the whole vegan thing,
Yeah.
unless you're like a cook your own vegan person,
Mm-hmm.
Beyond Meat, Impossible Burger, all that stuff, you're eating chemicals from a lab. You'll lose weight, but cancer.
Now here's what's crazy, Bethany. Through expert marketing
Mm.
and through a principle of convenience and ease, almost the whole world went from metal skillets that didn't kill you
Mhm.
to stuff that's more convenient. You can wash it faster and nothing sticks to it.
Yep.
When back in the day, the reason stuff didn't stick was because you stood there and cooked your food and made sure it didn't stink.
Mhm.
Didn't stick. And now, because of convenience,
Yep.
they've gotten rid. But a lot of people are going back to stainless steel
Yeah.
and cast iron skillets.
Yeah, I was researching cast iron skillets
Mhm.
and how to clean them and
Mhm.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
You can get rid of all these non-stick.
Yep.
Because as soon as you scratch it once, it starts releasing stuff.
Absolutely.
And no wonder why.
My grandparents, my mother, until it changed, they always cooked on cast iron or stainless steel.
Yeah, yeah. And now I'm really into cooking with glass in the oven rather than put it on. Just there's ways for us to.
Absolutely.
It costs more, but you're either going to pay the money up front to be healthy, or you're going to pay the money up front on the back end with medical bills and stuff. I mean,
Part of the problem with cast iron is that you have to do something to the pan before you start using the pan. So if you don't know how to cure it, then you'll think, oh, that's just too much trouble. But it really isn't.
Yeah.
You heat the pan up, you put some salt in it, you continue to heat it, scour the pan, because what you're trying to do is get the pan sealed,
Okay.
and then you start using the pan. It's really, I'm condensing the instructions, but I know grills the same way. You get a new grill, you cure it first,
Right.
so everything doesn't stick to it. But you can buy a pan with no stick on it,
Yeah.
and not go through all that.
Yeah. And then have all those chemicals.
That's right. But nobody's thinking about that. I remember when my doctor took me off of water in those flexible plastic bottles, he told me to stop altogether
Yeah.
because estrogen leaches from those into the water.
Yep. Yeah.
And he said, and most water sits in factories a long time before it gets here,
Yep.
and goes through these temperature changes and whatnot.
Mhm.
So the bottles are starting to break down almost as soon as they put the water in.
Yeah. I stopped drinking from plastic bottles. Like,
Doc, I'd only do glass.
Yeah. And they actually showed that we all have a credit card size amount of plastic in our bodies from all the plastic we use from just about anything.
I stopped using plastic water bottles so long ago.
Yeah.
And the only ones that are a little safer are the hard ones.
Yeah.
But they cost more to manufacture.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to pay for it. That's one. You're going to pay for it either way, up front or in the back end.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you something.
I know when we started drinking Voss out of glass, guys would come in, "Doc, you paying for this?" Yeah.
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 And that was what, 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
But there's you pay for convenience. You go to a local convenience store, you pay more money. It's just, there's no free convenience.
There isn't.
No.
But you're right. It's easy. Like the microwavable dinners that were popular for a long time when they first came out because of the convenience.
Oh man.
Not realizing all the stuff that was going into our bodies.
Doc, what's common sense to me? Maybe it's not common sense to a lot of people. If I'm buying something that can sit on a shelf for a year,
Yep.
there's got to be some stuff in there to preserve it.
Yes.
And it doesn't cook out when I cook it. I eat it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you can't read the ingredients and you don't know how to pronounce the words, usually it's not a good idea to eat.
Yeah. And you'll notice the sodium level is so high.
Yeah.
But sodium, even back in the pioneer days, was a preservative
Right.
for meat,
Yep.
all kinds of stuff. So people could put them in a place that wasn't refrigerated, and it would keep.
And it would keep it. Yep. People talk about the Amish all they want to.
Yep.
They eat their stuff clean.
Yep.
They really do a lot of stuff, and their lifespan and their quality of life is much different than ours.
Yeah. But why do you think that farmers market is packed every week?
Yeah.
But you gotta, it's just the price of good food is relatively high to most people.
Yeah.
I call Whole Foods whole check.
Yeah. I was just there yesterday. Yeah.
You walk in there picking up a few things.
Mm-hmm.
You got a $70-$80 bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have that much.
Yeah. And that's the thing that in this country is I get it, I understand it. We both have come from backgrounds where the money wasn't flowing in. And we are in our adulthood experienced times where it's tight.
Absolutely.
It's sad that it's easier to feed a family of 5 or 6 at McDonald's than it is to feed salads and because the price for organic, it's.
I've had conversations with parents whose dinner was actually, when they picked up the kids on their way home, they stopped at McDonald's every Monday through Friday.
Yep.
Every day, McDonald's. And you have a conversation with the children. They don't like this, they don't like that, they don't like this, they don't like that. Well, you know what people do? They say they don't like something because they never had it.
Yeah.
But if all you've had is a burger and fries and a soda for dinner, 5 days a week, what kind of body are you building?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's convenience.
It's convenience. And it's been our trap ever since as human beings.
Yeah. I tell you. So they got a COVID vaccine coming out for kids 6 months to 6 years. I know people are going to hesitate and wait to see what the evidence is because you got to do that. Governor DeSantis will not pre-order COVID vaccines for under 5, and he's in a state where COVID deaths and rates and all
The highest right now.
are the highest in the country. Well, let me ask you a question. Why doesn't that correlate with that's a bad decision?
To him, the freedom.
To the people. I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I
about
know,
him.
I
I ain't talking about him because we can't
Yeah.
put him in a reasonable category. To the people, why doesn't that say, you know what, these policies historically have killed a lot of people in our state. Something's wrong with this.
Personal freedom, personal convenience is more important than the overall collective whole. Well, we don't know what's in it.
Well, let's personalize it. Let's personalize it. So your next door neighbor dying of COVID doesn't do anything to your concern about COVID.
I had somebody
No COVID.
whose family member got extremely sick.
Oh Lord.
I mean, very sick.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Yes, sir.
after they saw a couple of their family members get extremely sick,
Mm-hmm.
I get that they got sick, but I got to go out here and live my life. Hand to God. And I was like, literally, I can't live confined. I got to go out and live,
You know what that tells me? Most people's futures are no further than tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have an internal belief that my whole future is wrapped up in the next day. So you can't look past the next day and have that mindset.
Yeah.
So they may not be saying it, but those responses indicate I got to live my life right now because I have no tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible to me, especially coming from Christians.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean? You can't sing Jesus holds tomorrow in his hand and you say I don't need to have any caution right now because I got to live my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I know people that have said that to me, and then I know they got laid down for 3 or 4 weeks by this thing,
Yeah.
and then I saw them again, and you know me, I'm going to ask, so how you been?
Yeah.
Well, I was sick. What kind of sick? But you said you had to live your life. I didn't think. If people dying isn't enough evidence, I don't know what is.
I know.
If people dying in your family isn't enough evidence, I don't know what is.
It's that thing. It won't be me.
Well, that's
yeah.
proven to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because you it's not like it's a mosquito you can hear coming and see coming.
Yeah.
But when you have evidence, when there's a demonstration of power.
Yeah. And I know some people who their thing was, well, I haven't gotten it this long, so I guess it's fine for me to.
No, that's dumb.
There are people who've never gotten it before and are just getting it now.
But some of them got it and had a mild case.
Yeah.
But it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You can't control who you've been around. You can control who you've been around, but you can't control who they've been around.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game. It's a shrinking concentric series of circles.
Yeah.
That sooner or later, because we know people went the whole 3 years, didn't catch it, and now got vaccines and are catching it, and the only thing kept them alive.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing somebody said. The reason why so many people that are vaccinated are catching this newer strain is because they put their guard down. They're like, well, I'm vaccinated, so I can go out here and just go to everything.
I know a preacher who I've known since 8 years old, and he said, when he called and told me he was just getting back on his feet after the second bout, I said, listen to me, man. So you got the vaccine and decided you were invincible, right? He said, you've been asking me these same questions since I was 8, 9 years old. He said, yeah, man, I let my guard down. He said, and then I got better, and I let it down again. And he almost died.
I know somebody got it twice.
Yeah.
They just saw him last week out at some event somewhere. I mean, they are like.
I'm telling you, it's not even a stated thing.
Yeah.
Behavior speaks. Behavior tells what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And if you feel as though you have no future, you will live this. I got to live now. But there's Bible for that.
Yeah.
There's Bible for that.
Yeah. There is. I mean, it's just.
Ecclesiastes talks about this mindset.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but.
So we got inflation, and they're trying to blame the president for inflation, but presidents aren't responsible for inflation. There's no way to pour money into an economy and not inflate the economy. It's basic living. There's no way you can do it.
Yeah.
And to get inflation in check, they got to do stuff like get people employed, raise interest rates. These are things that have to happen to counter an economy that's inflated. I don't know what the hard thing is.
People don't. To me, they don't consider the most basic, common sense things, or they just want to believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But everybody knows we don't control gas prices.
No. Gas is up around the whole world, and that's somebody.
It's not just in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, Trump, Biden got gas prices went up. It's up everywhere. Like, come on, y'all. Common sense.
So in the whole world, the U.S. is exclusive as it relates to gas prices.
That-
In the whole world, the U.S. is exclusive as it relates to wheat prices. In the whole world.
Right.
No. There's global. We're not separate anymore. Global inflation. It's happening all over the world.
Yeah. Yep. It's a simple Google. How much is gas around the
Don't-
world?
they don't wanna do that.
That's all it is.
Pastor Nick, you're asking too much.
It's like people.
You're being unreasonable.
Yeah, like not studying history and acting like
You're being
this is
unreasonable.
new. It's like no.
You're
Open a book.
You're being unreasonable.
It's like-
You're being unreasonable. What do you mean I should check? What do you mean I should call you to find out what I want to know?
Right. It's just
Come on.
But a mind already made up.
Yep.
That this is what I want it to be, and this is what it
A
is.
stronghold is difficult to overcome.
Yep. And no need to fight. Wow.
Well, let's go to our lines. They're lit up. 866. They're lit up. They've lighted up. They're lit. 866-743-8267. 866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday. Won't you share right now at David G. Evans 1. Share, like us, subscribe to us. Hit that notification button so you'll know every time On Point is broadcasting. We're going to Tom from Florida. Then we're going to Kevin from Cedarville, New Jersey. And then we have a third line that's lit. We have room for maybe 2 more people at this very moment. So get your call in and let's get going here. Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing, Pastor Nick?
Time.
What's going on this morning?
Our crazy governor you already mentioned, what he did 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But last night he reversed course slightly. So they are going to order these vaccinations for these kids. And you were saying, why does he do these things?
Yeah.
Bishop, I guarantee if the government said you can't order it, he would then insist on ordering it. It's whatever opposite that the establishment's coming out against with. He's going to go against it.
So it has to be
And
his
people
decision.
are loving it.
My stepdad, God rest his soul, was like that. He was a contrarian. If you said we need to go left, he insisted on going right, even if it cost him. It's an amazing thing that, he would. That's really a pubescent attitude. You know that.
Yeah.
That's a teenager's mindset that is carried into the governor's adulthood. That even if it hurts the state that he's involved in, he will not do what's suggested to him.
Yep.
And people are getting on board with him behind this craziness.
Well, did he change course because there was an immediate outcry from parents?
Parents, the doctors here, and most of the health departments, people were coming out of the woodworks on the local broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And his rebuttal was, I never said you couldn't have it.
Come on.
I just said I wasn't ordering it, but you could still
Come
have it.
on. Stop
And,
playing.
And after he said, "Well, we
Oh,
shouldn't get it
yeah.
because we don't know all the risks," and it just
Yeah, he had this long rebuttal
Yeah.
that was full of it. But,
He needs to stop playing. And what bothers me
Yeah.
is that people in your state seem to follow that lack of logic because it's not logical.
Totally ridiculous. And we're a tale of 2 different states. You got up past Palm Beach, which is very Republican, right-wing.
Yeah.
And, he's holding on to that. So, right now, the ex-Republican governor who became a Democrat is going to run against him.
Okay.
So hopefully some common sense comes to the state, or I'll have to move back to New Jersey. But
Yeah, one of the things that intrigues me about your governor, but it just seems to be a very common ailment in our country right now, is that he would say something like that and then change his mind, but then hold the persons that he was speaking to responsible for the interpretation of what he said.
Yeah.
It's this is what I said, but this is what I really meant. Well, no. It doesn't work like that. The burden of communication is on the speaker, not the person that's listening to you. It's your job, when you're speaking, it's your job to be understood. It's not the people who's listening to your job to understand you. So for him to say, well, I didn't say so-and-so, well, you didn't say a whole lot, but what you did say was, I'm not ordering it. And you left that up to interpretation.
Hell yeah.
And most people understand, I'm not ordering it. But then when you get backlash, you want to try to bring out the nuances in the statement. Well, if they're invisible, they're not nuances.
Correct.
Okay.
Bishop.
I know that part of the conversation was a little eggheadish, but I felt an egghead splurge there for a second.
Well, sometimes it's needed.
Okay.
Bishop, the more it's coming out about Pence, you were saying, he was afraid to leave.
Yeah.
Not only, it appears as though there was other things going on. The more it comes out that he was aware that if he left, that guys like Ted Cruz and all would have held up the count to where it could have been thrown back to the states, and he was determined not to let that happen.
So he had to stay in the
The
building.
more it's coming out, Pence really did stand up that day.
Well, his guys were telling him, you're about to do something that's illegal, that's not constitutional. Yeah. You can't do this. And I'm surprised he listened.
Yeah.
Because I understand respecting an individual you're working with, but I don't understand going along with something that you know is absolutely wrong. But a good leader does not persuade you to do something wrong. Right. President Trump was not a good person. Mm-hmm. He persuaded people to do the wrong thing, and if it's wrong in somebody else's context, it's wrong in yours. So if the Democrats had arranged a protest / riot / insurrection, then it would have been wrong in the Republican side. It would not have been a tour. It would not have been just another tour going through the Capitol. It would not have been a regular day at the Capitol. So if it would have been wrong for the Democrats, it's wrong for the Republicans.
Yep.
And what's so bad with saying that in this time? But it is.
It is absolutely wrong. Yep.
Bishop, did you also hear about the conversation the morning of January 6th, where the president called Pence, called him a wimp, and also called him a kitty cat? And that's a polite word for what else.
Yeah, I understand. But he had been acting like that as a vice president the entire time. And I understand the vice president's job is to support the president and his policies. Yeah. But at some point, who you are has to step through. But I get this part, because we see it even in the church world. People are willing to give up their integrity to hold on to a position. And I believe Pence wanted to be president, or thought he had a chance to be president, and held on to that vice president seat as much as he could, as long as he could.
Yeah.
Wow.
They created a monster in Trump, and then didn't like what they created.
Absolutely. Well, Frankenstein always turns out that way.
Yep.
And Frankenstein turns on the person that created it.
Yep.
Man, oh man,
they wanted power. They wanted power that bad. Hey, sorry, go Tom.
I know you got to get other people on. Maybe Pastor Nick can look this up. I think OPEC controls oil prices.
Absolutely.
Not anybody else. That's why the president was going to Saudi Arabia to try to convince them to pump a little more oil.
They're not concerned about the politics here. They're concerned about, they know how, it's summertime. They're going to make money. They're going to, depending on the environment, they're going to lower prices a little bit so you buy more, or they raise prices when you're forced to travel.
Yeah, because they say the cost of oil is back down to a few years ago, but prices are still up. It's
the profit margin is, And then you got our guys over here that are taking advantage of the psychological environment, so they've jacked the price up with everything.
Yeah. And the profits that these corporations are making, the oil industry and all these places are...
The chicken industry.
Insane.
$2.50 a wing?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Insane.
Come on. You buy 5 wings, you could have bought a turkey.
Right.
Talk to you, Tom.
See you, Tom.
Take care.
Bye-bye. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. We're going to Kevin from Cedarville. Hey, Kevin.
Kevin.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing so well, thank you. How about the both of you?
Doing good. Welcome to On Point once again. Long time no hear.
Yes. Well, you have some interesting conversations this morning.
We try.
And you know something, before I even speak, I said, I have to always get myself together before I talk to them because they're so funny. I'm going to start laughing before I ask the question.
Yeah, can't have fun being saved. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah, so true.
So, you were talking about the things that are happening that are poisoning our body. I just thought that was so interesting, the plastic and other things. But it made me think about when I was in high school. And I used to get teased, you can't be black. You eat fried chicken and macaroni and cheese? Well, what they didn't understand was, the students I went to school with, my dad was a cook. And so we had the opportunity to eat other things.
Absolutely.
And so at this point, when it comes to food, we have a choice. When we know better, we can do better.
That's right.
So I have not been a fried chicken. Now, I've eaten fried chicken, and it's good. But you know what? Now that we're older, and especially those of us that know the Word, the Bible talks about knowledge being power, and, we can just change. We have that option to change. But it's incredible to hear you talk about the plastics. And so now I'm like, I'm not buying any more water in the plastic bottle because it does sit. And I've also heard that it's very important that we don't leave water in a car because the heat
Absolutely.
causes water that poison to be released in the bottles.
Absolutely.
So I love these conversations, and I'm eating better. And even I heard Pastor Nick talk about the vegan, the Beyond Meat. I love that sausage, but I'm now, thinking about it. There are the sodium in there that preserves it, but it's so bad for us.
Well, it comes down, like we were talking about, to convenience, but also, unfortunately, price. Because if you go into one of the stores that is known for organic foods, and they have the organic food sitting right next to conventional, and you got some money issues, you go home with the conventional.
Yep. You are.
Even though, the organic food is not as pretty as the conventional food.
Right.
But I don't think our forefathers and ancestors used to worry about how pretty a piece of food was. They worry about what it did for you.
Yep. Taste. Yeah. Yeah, all that stuff is like, again, you look at the chemicals on all the Beyond Meat stuff and all that.
Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat, yeah.
What is that?
It's like
amazing.
It's some chemical concoction of soy and a bunch of other stuff to mimic.
It's imitation.
Yeah. To mimic
and the bad thing is,
and they call it Beyond
Meat. Yeah.
That gives the impression that it's better.
It's supposed to be healthier.
Yeah. But it can't be.
It's not.
Yeah.
You do better eating a regular steak than eating Beyond Meat.
Right.
And then, here's the other problem. So having gone to school on a farm for my junior and senior year in high school, we had an organic-based farm.
Yep.
Okay.
So the milk tasted differently because we got it right out of the cow.
Yeah.
The meat tasted differently because they would butcher some every now and then. I mean, just the corn was different.
Now I don't know if Pastor Nick remembers.
It was just amazing.
Remember we used to get the milk delivered to the aluminum can in the glass bottle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know where these plastic the carton came from, but the least that happened was it came in a carton or in a glass bottle.
Yeah.
And you turn the glass back in.
Yep.
And some places, I think Whole Foods still has that, and somewhere else does. Yeah, where you bring it back in.
Yeah.
But I mean,
wow.
I mean, you gotta literally think about it. And I read this, and somebody brought up in the chat.
What?
If grocery stores have a health food section, what is the other food?
Okay.
Well, absolutely.
Right? I mean, think about it. If this is the healthy section, what's the rest of it?
We have these cliches that if you ask the next question, it'll make you say, wait a minute.
Yeah. Like, literally think about it. But again, like we said, we get it. Families that struggle, it's hard for them to eat clean all the time.
When American cheese now is $7 a pack for this much cheese. I mean, you make a choice.
Yeah, and we get it, but it's just.
You know, we're getting Velveeta this week.
Right. Maybe later on to something.
Getting some Velveeta, Doc.
But that's the sad part of our country, is that we'll much rather have you sick on pills than you eat right.
There's money in that.
Yeah, it's a whole system.
There's money in that. And then the medical industry kind of poo-poos, all this organic stuff. You know, eat this and get better. They don't want to hear that. You know, the pharmaceutical industry is very strong. The lobbyists are very strong.
Yeah, they are.
So what's going on up in Cedarville, Kevin?
What's going on in Cedarville? It's hot outside. I exercise inside. It's cool outside. I'm going outside.
Well, it's something you mentioned, but your dad being a chef. The reason my palate is so wide now is because my mother owned a catering business.
Okay.
And we had, a variety of food, and people thought my palate was strange.
Wow. Yeah.
We were. She was a single mother with 2 boys, and we were eating lobster Newburg on Friday, but people didn't know.
See.
They were like, "What's
so
this?"
You can relate to what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
my dad made a salad one time: apples, raisins, and mayonnaise. Yuck. Ugh. But he was using all fresh things, and we had the opportunity to experience more. And it's a lack of people knowledge that they would call me. It's
called a Waldorf salad.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I knew I liked you.
Yeah, we used to eat it all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so I thank my dad for that, for giving me that experience.
Yeah.
So now, since I've had that in me, I can choose to eat better. I have no excuse.
Yeah. And a variety.
Yeah. And I'll say something. I love our people. I love black folk. I love to be black. Love being black.
Yeah.
But our diet is horrible.
Yeah.
You go to a black church event, not necessarily ours, 'cause we expand our palate. People's palate.
Oh yeah.
But most black church events, it's fried chicken.
Yep.
All the heavy stuff. I go to a white conference. We got salads. We got this on the side.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. We can't have that discussion without having this one. We make the result of that diet culturally acceptable.
Yeah.
So weight is acceptable, and if you don't like weight, something's wrong with you. We all the negative effects of a bad diet, we've made acceptable, preferable. And so instead of calling the results of those diets what they are, we got new words like fluffy and curvy and those kind of words. It's true.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
So we justify the diet by justifying the result.
Yeah. But then why we got hypertension, lead to diabetes,
justify it.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Justify it.
And I cheat like everybody else. But I can't make it a whole.
You can't make it a lifestyle.
You
can't make it a lifestyle.
I can't do it.
No. All of us like if you understand control.
Yeah.
I love cannolis.
Yeah.
But I'm not having more than one a month.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I'm not, because I'd eat them every other day if I could. But I'm having one a month.
Yeah.
I love fried chicken, but I also love baked chicken.
Yep.
Okay.
So I know to mix that stuff in.
Yeah, man. You have to.
Doc.
But then it's like, it's funny. I read somebody said something. I think Chris Rock said this. Somebody said this. Black folk will have a funeral for somebody and eat the food at the reception that killed the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like, come on, y'all.
Absolutely.
We need to think through this. Like,
no, because we make the result acceptable culturally.
Yeah.
We make it.
You mentioned self-control, and I'm a fry eater. I had an air fryer, and when I tell you, I ate fries every single night. I eventually had to give my air fryer away because I did, and I even tried to trick myself. I tucked it away in an ottoman, but I pulled that bad boy back out and was making fries every day.
Were they good?
Yes.
I'm gonna try it.
I heard air fryer stuff is good.
It's bad for hypertension and it's bad for diabetes.
I think you have to learn how to cook with an air fryer. That's the thing. You got to master the air fryer.
I I gave it away, and my friend tried to give it back. I said, I don't want it back. I said, because I know that's my weakness. I can't do it.
Do you miss
so
it?
We do have to have self-control.
Do you miss it?
Yes.
All right, Kevin, we got to let you go.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you.
Great job every week.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Come on, give us a call. Let's talk about it. Danny from Florida, here we go. Hello, Danny.
Hey. Good morning, Bishop, Pastor Nick. How you all doing today?
I'm praying for all my friends in Florida. I pray for you all.
We need it.
Yeah,
we need it.
Man, how do you guys do it?
Through prayer. And I'm telling you, God has been good, and we're going to make it. And I want to, first things first, I have to say this.
Yeah.
I want to say Happy Father's Day to both you and Pastor Nick.
Thank you.
Because you may not realize it, but you've been a father to everyone because of the things and the issues that you have taught us, that you talk about, and you're like head of the family.
Thank you, man.
And Pastor Nick, disregard your age. Think of yourself.
He's really old. He's been lying about his age for years. He's been lying about his age
because
for
of
years.
the combination.
Look at all that gray in his beard, man.
Right. And growing up around a bunch of old people, yeah. I always talk around people older than me.
That was a little shade. Okay, grown up.
All my friends are older than I was.
Yeah. You can't clean it up now. It was good. The way you said it at first. It was effective.
But the combination that you have, that you can connect with everyone and give an opinion from both points of view. Yeah. That's very well.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah, and what you have done to unite the family, to bring back broken relationships, things like that, from both points of view. Yeah. And I know that people that I talk to, people that listen to you, and we have a discussion at work about things, and we say, that's working. We do this and do that, and the respect for one another in the family and what have you. It's really great. We do appreciate you, and God bless you, and happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you, man. You know, the Bible says wisdom is more powerful than weapons.
Yes. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is that I told you all years ago when DeSantis, before he came on the scene, nobody knew who he was. Yeah. I told you. Now, the thing that everyone is missing, now he's traveling north.
Is he?
Yes, he was in New York last week.
To do what?
He gave a speech at one of the big organizations that they slipped him in there. And he was presenting his policies.
Did he?
He was in Manhattan. Yes, he was.
He came to New York to make a speech about his policies?
Yes.
So he's throwing the gauntlet down at Trump?
He's in full swing. He's in full swing.
He basically announced what his intentions are.
Yeah, they're getting all of the backing, the financial, everything ready. They're getting it ready.
So they want the country to be as crazy as Florida is right now?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now, remember now, in Texas, his competition was in Texas, but he cannot do anything or say anything because of the incident that happened where there was a mix-up there with that school situation as far as communication as to who was in charge and who was reporting to who and who was giving directions.
Yeah.
Okay? So everybody bailed out of that. So which left DeSantis in a position of being the one that can go ahead and lead, which he wanted.
What bothers me about the Texas shooting and the shadow response by our political leaders is this: if they don't do anything about the ability to get military-grade weapons and have them on the street, except for law enforcement and the Army, if they don't do anything about not just the right age, because I don't think there is a right age to buy an M15 or whatever, the AR-16, whatever the number is these days. I don't think there's a right age for that.
Right.
I don't understand. You have to be a certain age to vote, a certain age to smoke, a certain age to drive.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, everybody doesn't drive because everybody can't pass the test.
Exactly.
Yep.
It makes no sense. It's like it's not logical.
Yeah, it's not. It's not logical at all. So I know Canada, Japan, a few other places. I mean, their process to get a gun is very extensive.
It should be.
Background checks, training, got to learn how to shoot, mental health tests. I mean, it's like it's all over.
Somebody help me understand. I've got to take a driving test, but I don't have to take a test to own a gun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is absolutely insane.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then
nobody says the driving test is infringing on your constitutional rights.
I know. And then, like you said too, it's a difference between shooting at a target that's not shooting back at you.
Oh, buddy.
Shooting in the range.
That's the key right there.
It's different than somebody
Yes,
shooting at you.
sir.
That's the key right there.
Yes, sir.
Being in the military, okay, having to serve in the time of war,
Mhm.
not like the wars that they have now,
Mm-hmm.
but during that time, I don't want to see a weapon. I don't like them because I've seen what they can do. I've seen the aftermath.
I've heard a lot of veterans say that.
I've seen what it has done. And my wife will tell you, until, thank God for Bishop, I've been able to more or less release a lot.
Okay.
And understand more.
Yeah.
And willing to go ahead and try to help others and try to convey that it's no good. It's no good at all.
It makes no sense. It's so we're not a country like Israel or either Denmark, I believe, who if you're an adult and you're in the country,
you serve.
You're going to serve. That you can
Yes.
you can work your job every day, but if they call the military up, you go home, get your weapon, and go serve. They don't have the incidences of violence that we do.
Yeah, you don't.
Yes.
You know, what we want is the right to go out and shoot somebody. That's not correct. Your right to bear arms does not overrule my right to have a life.
Yeah.
So, but we got these barriers set up for so many different things. But when it comes to something like a gun, we don't have a barrier for it.
Yeah.
What does an 18-year-old? What does a 21-year-old need? Why do we need a military-grade weapon on the street in somebody's house?
Yeah, I mean, at 40, I don't even need one.
And here's the deal, Pastor Nick. If the United States Army comes marching down the street,
thank you.
do you think you're going to stop them with your weapon?
Thank you. That's the thing.
It doesn't make any sense.
If the government gets out of control, we got to take it back. Like, look,
you ain't taking it back.
They'll shut down your phones. Come on.
Put you in the dark.
Like, come on, y'all. Like, let's be realistic here.
It's not a realistic thing.
And then to the point where we have the lawmakers who do not have any regret or any sympathy for defenseless kids or defensive senior citizens or defenseless citizens that are slaughtered. It's a slaughter.
It's not about life. It's about money and power.
Yeah.
And these lives are worth.
Yes.
They're sacrificed because of the worth of the money and power. It's fundamental. If they won't change when their own folk get killed, if guys will say it was a tour when the officers that are hired to protect them every day are killed, I don't know why people aren't talking about this. How do they look the security at the Capitol in the face and say what you guys went through was just some kind of tour?
Yeah, and then claim Blue Lives Matter too.
So people die at tours at the White House?
Right.
It's appalling. It's offensive. There's and I am pro gun, but I'm not pro lack of responsibility gun.
Right.
I'm not putting a gun in the hand of an 18-year-old person. Why didn't they need to be they need to have a book in their hand at school?
Yeah. But these politicians know. And I remember somebody said it years ago. The electorate, I use more verb. The electorate is dumb.
Okay.
And I would say all are dumb, but it's actually proven the point that people are. If you say something enough times and say what people want to hear, they'll believe you even though it doesn't make sense. From Hitler all the way through history, you've seen.
Help me understand something, Pastor Nick. And here we go again with no future concept. So if I feel like making me take a test to own a weapon that can kill someone, going through a real background check to make sure that I'm reasonably sane, making sure I'm not a criminal. If I'm asking for that, is my desire to have a gun at the cost of people's lives really saying that I don't think I have anything else in life? Because what it's masks. A mask to me does not threaten my constitutional rights. Right. So, but if I don't have anything else going on in my life, I'm going to latch onto that little thing as a point of protest. So is this gun thing they're going to take my gun too? But they don't say that when they go to get a license for the kid.
Yeah. And to me, it's a power thing. I got these guns. I need to try to use my words wisely here. It's a power trip. I've seen even some people that have money, their gun makes them feel strong and powerful, which means you probably couldn't do nothing without that gun.
Well, I'm clear that there's a strength that people. I know guys that are in law enforcement that were punks before they got in law enforcement, but now that they're licensed to carry a gun, they got all this macho going on. You know, so I just, and we're pro gun. But we're not pro-irresponsible gun. And I think that's where it is, responsibility. And a modicum of concern about your fellow man. Not asking you to be Jesus, just a modicum of concern.
Don't have it.
Okay.
Don't have it.
And one more thing, and I'll get out of the way here.
Okay.
Down here, the COVID rate is escalating.
Oh, of course it is.
Okay. And like you said, people have put their guards down. I'm one of the very few people that still wear a mask. I'm going to wear a mask.
Absolutely.
As much as I love to go ahead to a football game.
Not going to a game now. Not going to a game. I missed the pen relays again.
I know.
I wasn't going to be surrounded, Danny, by people screaming for 8 hours and using a common bathroom, 3 or 4 times. I wasn't going to do it. And I haven't missed a pen relay until the pandemic came. But I wasn't going to sit out there with all those people sitting around me, beside me, in back of me, screaming all day over top of my head and think that a mask was going to protect me in that situation. I wasn't willing to take a chance that those 900 people sitting in immediate vicinity of me were going to be COVID free.
Yeah.
Right.
So what did I do? I watched the 2 hours on TV. And what else did I do? I watched the races on YouTube.
Yep.
And my buddy wasn't going either. I don't get it, man. I can watch football on TV. I can watch a basketball tournament on TV. I can watch college basketball on TV. I can watch soccer on TV. I don't have to go and risk people in my family just for an event. Like we got a lot of folk doing now with these big concerts that are happening. People are going and taking a risk with people that they're related to.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at your life as being responsible for other people, you make necessary sacrifices.
You'll make a different decision.
Yeah. It's not always about us. But that's a biblical principle, though.
Oh, yeah.
Philippians 2, consider the other.
That's right.
You consider yourself.
Yep, but you can't tell the saints that right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Danny. We got to go, man.
Okay, happy Father's Day to you both.
Same to you. Tell my sister I said, hey, man.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Coming up on the end of another program. Come on now. Okay. Please join us tomorrow, 8 a.m. for our virtual service, 11 a.m. for our outdoor encounter experience. 6 o'clock, we're off tomorrow?
Yeah, we're off.
Well, Lord, have mercy. It's Father's Day tomorrow. So we are going to not have an evening worship experience. So join us at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers if I don't get to share that celebration with you tomorrow. Email your prayer requests to social@gotobethany.com. As always, subscribe to our YouTube and David G. Evans 1 efforts, and also to our podcast, DGEMS, DGEMS, and On Point on our podcast platforms. So tomorrow, 8 a.m., our Father's Day message, 11 a.m. outdoor service, Father's Day message. 6 o'clock will be off. We've got some great things planned for you in the coming weeks. We want you to be a part of what we're doing now. For Pastor Nicholas Smith, I'm Bishop David G. Evans. This is On Point, and I want you to stay strong, stay safe, and remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and see you next time.